So September
Well, it
20th.
could be in my
So maybe it'll be
notes today.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
something.
So, I mean, if you get the hard
Potential.
copy, don't worry about it, you could, because he copied me on it, so I have an electronic copy, and he already sent it out to the planning board. But
I'll check and see. if
The-
it's space.
I know, and I don't know if it's okay, like, I don't know if this is appropriate for, about the wastewater management plan and all that, no, don't do that, okay, never mind. Okay, well, we'll save it for executive session.
Fine.
I'll ask my question then, go ahead.
Okey dokey. All right.
I feel when we're gonna say that.
Capital, we talked
You
about
know,
capital
well.
facilities, well, that's all, updates.
I don't know what you're gonna say, I was waiting.
Okay,
After it's too
I-
late.
I do have to ask this question, and this relates to item number 8 in my report, municipal roadway evaluation. I'm 99% certain that last month you guys gave me the authorization to do this.
Yes.
Okay,
The
Well-
roads, but we got a whole capital project that we were talking about
Right.
the roads.
this is just the roads. This
Okay.
is just the roadway evaluation.
Yeah, but I saw some other, which by the way, I'm glad that I got it in terms of like, historically about all the other projects, but
good read.
it wasn't, I mean, it actually, and I'm glad that I have it, but that was, I think, beyond what we were talking about. We were just talking about roads, but I did see that in your
Yeah,
report.
so the roadway component of this is a pretty healthy task, and I've been pressing this, bringing it up for years now. But from what I just heard from Lorraine about the engineering budget, I chose not to proceed solely from a fiscal, conservative approach, so as not to really, so, now, if you want me to proceed, I'll be happy to proceed.
I think this, I think that as we were discussing at the last meeting, we wanted to at least get an idea, and I think that it could be updated in next year's budget, but it should be done.
Idea of the cost.
Yeah, it should be done sooner rather than later. We don't want to do it at the end of the year. It needs to be done like January, February.
Yeah.
But I think that it at least now will give us, because what I want to have done in the next couple months is at least a draft budget for next year. And I think that what we can do is we can look at those numbers, recognizing they're stale, at least just for basic elemental projections of what bonding would cost, what that would look like in terms of debt service, so that we can calculate what, because it would be at least, and again, this is just, I'm speaking for myself,
Good.
but my expectation would be that when the Township Committee has a discussion about how we're gonna go about tackling this project, whatever the cost of the debt service would be, I want to ensure that the budget recognizes reductions for at least that cost, so that we are, again, neutral in terms of not increasing taxes to the residents for this project, but recognizing we need to do it. So, in other words, and you know what I'm saying.
I do
Just
know
in
what you're
simple
saying.
terms,
Okay.
if you're borrowing $5 million, you don't have to provide for $5 million in that budget.
Right.
But whatever the debt service is going to be on that does have to be provided in the budget, and we need to ensure that we are not adding that and increasing taxes for
Okay,
that.
so you're looking for not the Rolls-Royce full-blown study that is quoted here.
No, at some point we may need that, but
You're
not
looking for a, let's call it a quick and dirty analysis, which will provide you with budget numbers for you to sink your teeth into.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. And I think that since we can
that's
assume it was on the
clearly
list then, it's
That's a
still.
much less labor-intensive task, and we're only talking probably hundreds of dollars, not thousands and so
Right,
forth.
right.
So that's-
I think at this point, no one is disagreeing that it's an issue that has to be addressed. I think that it's like anything else, when you're talking about these things, you're talking about money. That's really what
Well,
it
no,
comes
it's
down
gonna
to.
be,
So-
you're gonna be, you better sit down when you see the numbers.
Oh, no, but
It's
but
millions.
Oh, I know that.
It's-
I know that,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
you
It's
see,
a lot of money.
right now, there's never a better time to borrow money. It's the cheapest it's ever gonna be.
Good.
So I don't disagree that that's something that should be done. Again, I just I want some numbers so that I can at least know that we're doing it in a fiscally responsible way, that we're not causing additional burdens on the taxpayer, and I'm confident we can do that.
Okay.
You know,
And
you just have to.
Fine. Now I have a clearer understanding. That's why I didn't proceed, but I just wanted to let you know why I didn't proceed. So I think I did the right thing, and I'll get you the numbers. Okay, good. WMP, we talked about. Convenience, rumble strips. Ravine Road. Nothing to talk about with
Yeah,
Ravine
everyone
Road.
got a copy of the letter that came back.
It is well. Okay.
I mean, it is what it
Ravine
is.
Road. Okay.
It's just out there.
All right. Gas pipeline project is closing in on completion. They're not done. They're starting to make some headway. We're dealing with them on the road, so it's still, they're doing a good job with most of the restoration work. And feedback that we've spoken with some of the residents is pretty favorable, so that's a good thing.
Mike,
Not everybody.
What they're doing, I guess they're avoiding the Green Acres parcel.
Yep. They stopped.
Oh, is that what they did? Is that what they?
They stopped.
Yeah, because I did not hear anything.
No, they decided they just stopped.
Okay.
It's actually pretty funny.
Well,
No, it's really
One
not
day we'll
funny.
Actually,
find
I'm
out
glad
the
we-
grass is regrowing in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I mean,
move
it's
on.
just, yeah.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. And the state aids will be next month. Okay, just one other thing. I got a call, actually, he called me a number of times. I finally spoke with the gentleman today. His name's Anthony DiPaolo. He's a resident of Wyndham Farm. Okay, apparently he has an inlet in front of his driveway that the DPW has repaired a number of times, and it's I guess really deteriorating, and it's becoming a problem. It's causing some subsidence of his driveway, he thinks, etc. Very nice gentleman.
Are we talking sinkhole?
Well,
issue?
we don't know what we're talking about. Basically, we spoke today, so I said, well, there's a township committee meeting tonight. I'll ask them if they want me to come out and take a look at it. Normally, the DPW goes out and they do what they have to do. Apparently, they're at a loss, and they said to this fella, you're gonna need to get the engineer involved. So obviously, I don't take orders from the residents, I take orders from you. You want me to go out and take a look at it? This is a couple $100.
Is it, and is this the same issue that you addressed on Dory Place?
No.
In terms, it's not
No.
the same.
Where is
No, that's still, that RFP stuff, that's not a done deal yet,
Oh,
anyway, by the
know.
way.
When I meant the same issue, I mean, it's the same type of problems that are being presented
No,
okay.
no. The Dory Place situation really is multiple sinkhole occurrence and some real geological questions.
Mike, what street is this on?
Yvonne Way. So this is on the other side of Wyndham, so this is completely different. This is a catch basin collapse and so forth. This could be a structural thing, they gotta repair the catch basin. So, I didn't wanna just go ahead and do it, being this was just today. You want me to go out and see the guy, or?
Is this on municipal property? I mean.
Yeah, it's a road. It's a
Oh,
catch-
okay.
yeah, it's a road. It's our
Because
road.
The reality is people who have catch basins on their property are really responsible for the catch basin
This
itself.
is in the street though, isn't it?
No, but this is a road catch basin.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in like a lawn inlet kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
This is a catch basin on the curb line in front of the guy's
I
house.
understand. So it's our property.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% our
Okay, that's what-
responsibility.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
so you should probably go out.
I think so too, it's just that again,
Okay.
with the budget situation,
No,
and
I
they're
agree.
gonna call me today, the meeting being tonight, normally I would've fired off an email otherwise, but, okay. I told the guy to bring it up, and I just wanted to, so I didn't forget. And actually, I think that's, we took care of most of the other things, that's it for me tonight, thank you. And also, again, thank you very much for the Miracle League recognition, that was very, very, very nice, completely unexpected. When I saw my wife out there, I'm like, and there's a Giants game, right now it's going, I'm like, why in the world is she here? That was very cute. So thank you.
And that's why she
Thank
didn't
you,
answer the
Michael.
call. She was in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm
she
thinking
was,
I'm
you kept
calling.
on calling, she kept on hitting, like, you know.
Okay.
She didn't want
I
to.
figured she was out to, no. Okay.
Can we have, is it appropriate to have a conversation now about the properties
Yeah.
and
It's
the?
true.
That's okay. And also, Route 57, is that something we should be discussing now? in terms
I
of-
think that's contract negotiations.
Do you think that's a, okay, so that's a closed session item, okay, fair enough. These are as well?
No, this is Mike following the ordinance, so. no.
Okay, did you want to just briefly comment?
I would be happy to. And I should have actually included that within my report, and I did not. Okay. We did a little preliminary investigation and research, and we talked to Brent. To make a long story short, Kim and I got together, because this is actually a joint effort, if you really look at the ordinance, between the clerk and the public officer, which is me. So we went, this was what, 2 Fridays ago? Friday night. We went and inspected 5 properties. Just bear with me
These
one
ones that are in foreclosure or something, Mike, or?
Well,
I don't know.
I just
We
wanted
don't
to
know that
take
yet.
care of.
I'll tell you-
That's part of the problem.
I'll tell you exactly.
They're abandoned.
And this is in no particular order of priority. We inspected 108 Washington Street, Brett Road, 102 Bradford Lane, 728 Warren Glen Road, 745 Jackson Road, and 319 Prospect Street. We also realized that we didn't have the state housing code. We found a state housing code. I've forwarded that out, and we have that now in-house. The bottom line is this, and as per, I think I provided a summary email to somebody after we did the inspections.
To me.
Two houses, clearly, absolutely, completely habitable and are off the list, in my opinion. Those are 745 Jackson Road and 319 Prospect. The yards are a mess. They need a little, but they are absolutely, you almost moving. I mean, I don't.
How did they wind up on the list?
I don't
Because the
know.
grass was
The
high.
people, different people were, you
I know,
know.
I didn't.
The
No.
one on Jackson, people were complaining about mold. That's why I mentioned.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, so,
No, we didn't get it, although we did get inside. I got inside
In
one house.
Jackson? Oh, yeah, but
No.
now Jackson.
Oh,
We looked in the windows of Jackson.
No.
I mean,
there was no, I didn't
mold
assess
was,
mold.
but
A couple of
that's-
houses I did, but those are the
Yeah.
other part, the other 3. Okay, the other 3 properties at this point are, I would absolutely classify them as uninhabitable. 2 of them are just so disgusting. I can't even begin to express how horrible.
I've heard. That's why I
How
brought it up.
horrible
I know.
it is. I mean,
Right
Kim
here.
put on her motherly, the one house that I was able to enter, 102 Bradford, because the garage door is open, and I give her credit, she played mom for a second. She said, "You can't go in there, you gotta cover your mouth, you gotta cover your mouth." So luckily, I covered my mouth with a towel.
With our tissues from,
Boy, oh boy, I got photos.
yeah.
That's the house with the 5 German Shepherds, the lady who never let him out of the house. There is dog, it was a bigger dog living than me. Nobody in this room, I don't think, and it was the most gross thing I've ever seen. Okay, so we have now whittled down the list of 3
Did Kim
properties.
go in with you, or you went?
No,
by yourself?
no. It was just
I
like-
went by yourself?
I was hoping
See,
to.
hazmat
suits on?
I think
I
under
think some
the
hazmat
ordinance,
from
the
work.
ordinance, the clerk is supposed to enter first
First, I
and then the
thought
health
so too, yeah.
officer.
Yes.
Otherwise, the inspection's not
Okay, you know
valid.
what, Mike? I can go back in, I'll wear my boots, I'll do it. You just have to follow me.
I thought for a second.
Look,
you were
yeah.
telling me.
I know, I was like,
Wow.
really? Oh my
I missed
God.
that section.
Here's the, but here's the thing, Mike, okay, so we're beyond, okay, you've done the inspection, these 3 homes need to be knocked down. The
Well,
wait a minute.
no. That's-
Way.
The way the
Yeah.
ordinance is structured is that Mike has to put together a complaint, and then goes before the township committee as the board of health, and then you determine whether or not it should be repaired, or whether or not it should be demoed. So that's a decision
Okay.
that has to be discussed.
And that's
After
where
a
the five
failure,
committee
okay.
members
Yes.
have to go in with their masks
Right.
on.
And-
We'll listen to the evidence, but here's the thing, Brent, here's what I want, I just wanna, let me deal in hypotheticals so that the issue is not prejudged.
Yes. Good idea.
Hypothetically, we conduct a full hearing, the issues are presented, and there's a determination that the home is not habitable and it needs to be raised. I just wanna make sure that under the statute or the mechanism, we can raise a home without acquiring ownership. I do not want the township to own these properties because there could be underground oil wells, there could be other
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
I don't wanna purchase a liability for the taxpayer.
Right.
I wanna get rid of the problem without ownership. Is that possible?
Well, the ordinance
Yeah.
does permit the Board of Health, if you will, to make a decision whether or not to demolish it or to repair it. Now,
Without ownership?
yeah, without ownership, but I have to say that demo is usually the last resort. It's usually a repair, and then the costs go on to the property owner. But that is a decision that has to be made after a complaint has been filed, there's a whole public hearing on the thing, so.
I gotcha. I just wanna make sure that there's a mechanism that, again, hypothetically, if there's a hearing and it's determined that the appropriate course of action is to demolish it, that we can do that without acquiring ownership.
Right, and I will double check that before we have such a hearing.
Yeah, because I do not wanna
We
see.
would have to have a separate Board of Health hearing
Correct.
prior to a township committee meeting.
Yeah.
Can it be versus like spending money, if we get to that point, which sounds like we might, rather than spend money, it's gonna cost money to demolish it, why couldn't we just have the fire department go and torch it, and that can be one of their, like, training?
Well, two of the houses you're
As long as
torching,
it's- as long as
you're not
it's
torching
contained.
108 Washington.
Yeah, we can't,
You're gonna-
I
the other two-
Gordon called it
the
an
other
objection
two-
to torching, but the.
You could definitely torch.
Yeah,
The other two you
yeah,
could
yeah.
definitely torch.
Yeah.
In fact, the one I
Otherwise,
would
it's gonna cost a ton of money
And
for
it's
demolition.
The one on
probably
Washington
could get a
Street,
grant.
right, you got, it's caving in.
No,
It's
well, but you
collapsing.
can't torch that house.
No, but what I'm
Right.
saying is, that's
No.
number one criminal arrest. That's the number one right now.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Okay, so let's wait for the complaint to be filed and the hearing, and all these issues can be discussed.
Okay, that's it, that was the only thing I wanted, so
And I gotta coordinate with Brent for more and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, Tom, can you?
Because of course, we're talking hypothetically.
You can see it.
So,
Old fire
You wanna
department
talk
out
about the
there.
buffer too, by the way? Substation.
I have no idea at the moment.
Because you need to tell me what you want me to do.
The buffer substation on Willow Grove, the JCP,
JCP, First Energy, whatever you want to.
whatever you want to call them, has said that they will not allow that substation to be buffered facing the street because they need access or they need to view it for security reasons or
Security.
whatever. And I asked Mike to ask if they have to have access or viewing, does it have to be the street view, or can they do it from the side? Like if you were coming from Stecker Field down to, that's could you take those arborvitae's out? And then if you're gonna have a 3, did you ask that question? He said no, or we didn't get that far.
That's what the meeting is for.
That's what they mean.
That's one of the things to talk about at the meeting.
Stan Prater can meet, and it's during the morning,
It's next Wednesday, 10 a.m.
next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Well, he's not gonna be there. His engineer
His
guy,
engineer's gonna be
whoever
there.
is, or 1 or 2 reps or whoever is supposed to go up there.
Is this something that a committee member can just voice a concern and ask them whether they can do it or not, or is this something that you need to be there?
Well, I threw out my 2 cents in an email response to you.
I
personally,
You want to.
you never responded, so maybe in any event, I think I should be there because we're talking about buffering, we're talking about species, we're talking about impacts on underground conduit, we're talking about site distance. I mean,
And I guess I'm just looking at it as real simple. There's
Yeah.
right now, there's 3 sides that have arborvitae's. My proposal is we have 3 sides with arborvitae's. We just changed one side from the street view. All we want to do right now is we have 1, 2, 3. just make it 1, 2, 3. So it's just taking the one row of arborvitaes that is really providing screening for a cemetery and putting the screening facing, as I flippantly said to you the last time, provide a screening for those above the ground. And, and we can at least have a practical approach to this, where if they need, for security reasons, they could stay in their car on Washington Street and look right at it the same. It's probably easier for them, I would submit, to have a view without getting out of their car if they move the screen, as opposed to in the middle of an intersection between Willow Grove and Washington right now. So, I mean, I don't know what all the planning or discussion would be other than, in fact, I would submit this. I don't even know why we have to have a meeting. Why this can't be resolved in an email of, right now, take the arborvitaes that faces whatever the compass direction is towards Stecker Field and move it to screen the most visible side of the 4 sides, and then we would recognize their need to have one full row unobstructed, just changing the direction. And the answer is either yes or no. And if they can't do it, then I'd like to know why they can't do it, and what screening they would allow in the front. In other words, you said, okay, we'll allow some screening. Just give us a menu of what it is. Since it sounds like there's really nothing to negotiate, that they're calling the shots anyway. So it's just like, here's what we'd like to do. Yes or no?
You know, Joe, I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it based upon, we finally got some, and when they said, look, you want to schedule a meeting, I jumped at the chance.
Because you're afraid if we say no meeting, do it in email, they're going to take that as we're not serious.
Well, and, I mean, a meeting at the site with it looking right in front of you, who knows who's going to be there and how familiar they are with it. I think
What do you think it'll be, like an hour meeting at most?
Oh, if that.
Yeah.
And
So
you know
do it.
what? Maybe I don't need to be there. You're right. It is pretty simple. It isn't rocket science. If one of you guys want to go, and that's, maybe, you're right. Maybe I don't need to be there. I mean, really.
I'm more expressive.
I can do 10 o'clock if it's 10 o'clock.
What time is it?
It's 10 o'clock. Next Wednesday at
Yeah, I
10.
can do it at 10.
Do you understand the issue?
Yeah.
It's just moving one row
Okay.
of trees. It's really.
Is that also changing the entrance into the substation?
Well, the entrance is on that side.
On the side that's
Yeah, which
not
actually makes it-
covered? Or is it on the side that's covered?
Well, no, the arborvitae's go next to the driveway right
Yeah.
now.
So you could
You
just
would
go
be
to the
moving,
driveway.
flipping
I don't
them
think it would- In
over.
other words, you just move the
Your
arborvitae
arborvitae's
right to
away
wherever
from
the
the
driveway is.
driveway.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think so the part that's uncovered that we're talking about, is that their entrance into the substation?
But it's all the way to the right.
It's all the way to the one
Yes,
side.
It's all the way to one side, so you could put the arborvitae's in right to the,
Yeah.
Okay.
right
Right
to
to
the
the
driveway,
entrance.
and you would achieve the screening and without interfering their access.
Yeah, because the driveway is right up.
Because I know sometimes with substations, Gary might know about this, is that they don't want to put an entrance where you could walk in and walk right into the bus lines or anything like that. So that may be the issue.
Well, I don't think we're looking at changing the access at all.
Okay, no, I'm just
Yeah.
asking,
Yeah, so,
It's moving 15
That little
trees.
three-quarter distance, that would be
Yeah.
fine and not affect
Yeah,
it
that'd
at all.
be
It's
not-
still,
yeah.
like
It's
you
just-
said, they'll have their visibility from the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we want to, in other words, they need visibility, fine, we hear you, but let's do the side that would have the less impact to the residents,
Okay.
that's all, okay?
And you
Now,
got
well,
guys from the
there's
cop
still-
program from the jail.
there's
They
still
might
the
move.
impact of the underground piping that they claim, that's why there's nothing in the front, because there's a lot of pipes and conduit that
This feed.
the pipes run back and forth feeding the substation. So that's, it
Maybe
might
they're
not
concerned
just
about
be,
the arborvitae's
Yeah.
actually, constraining them in some way.
No, it's the roots.
it's the roots,
That's
yeah,
what
you
I'm
don't
saying.
The roots
wanna,
will grow in.
yeah, so,
All right.
Okay.
so they're maybe not, okay.
All right, so Elaine will attend, does Elaine need to, are you gonna tell Stan that Elaine will be there at 10 o'clock?
Well, I could, yeah, I will,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine, I'll be, whatever. I
Thanks,
don't-
and just CC Elaine, so she's got the.
Yeah, Elaine, you got any
Thanks.
questions at the, just call me
All right.
beforehand or whatever.
So is that it, Mike?
Yeah, I'm
Thank
sorry, I
you.
keep throwing in
No,
these
no,
other
thank-
things, yeah,
thank
that's
you.
definitely it.
Brent?
I'll be short, I have nothing to report for the public session.
Wow, look at that.
Make it
Uh,
look better.
Yep.
I'm finished.
A motion to open up for the, I guess, third public comment or fourth public comment period
Take the
tonight.
motion. Second.
Anyone wishing to make public comment, please come up.
I'll make it quick, so. Oh, it's late. Gary Hill, 529 North Main. A couple of quick things. Regarding the water remediation, if there's a way that you could put leverage to say no to New Jersey American Water, because that site, I believe, Tom, you may have even actually seen it because they've been sending out issues to emergency management for years on that supervised site. It actually starts in Washington Borough. That's where the facility was located, and it came all the way down the Cohasset Creek watershed.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you said. Say no to what?
New Jersey American Water, that's the water that's probably one of the two that they would get the public water source from, either Aqua or New Jersey American Water.
So you're saying if we have any input into it, say no?
Yeah, I would just say no, because that's where they get their Aqua, or their,
Based upon what I've received so far, we have zero input in that. That's where that.
Their production wells are located in the contamination area, but.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if there's any way of saying, hey, we don't want, because you're
Yeah,
giving
but-
us dirty water again.
Well, there's thousands of people that get
I-
that water. I mean,
I'm sorry, what's the name of that company?
New Jersey American.
New Jersey American.
We had them years, I think. ago.
I'll bring it up to them and say that residents have raised a concern, and we would prefer, and
That was just
all
the first thing I
all I
thought.
could do is suggest.
Joe, New Jersey American Water is a subsidiary of American Water, which is a publicly traded company. It's just,
Big one.
they're huge.
You have stock in?
No, not in that company.
The West Nile virus issues that you talk about with the standing water and whatnot, is there any way that they can also enforce something with the ponding over at the ShopRite Home Depot? Water pond.
Detention
It's
basin, ShopRite
Their
Home
retention
Depot.
basin, that's the word I was looking for, thank you. Because that also, it's got water in it 365 days out of the year.
It's not working.
No, it only goes to a certain level.
Well, no, what happens is, with that,
Build up those bags, Rich.
there's so much garbage that ends up getting blown into the
Plastic
pond,
bags.
the low flow orifice clogs. So, the water backs up.
So
It-
the property owner-
It's just strictly a maintenance issue.
From the
And
property
see, in
owner.
Greenwich Chase, the reason we don't have the issue with the retention basin there is because the homeowners pay the landscaping company to go in there and keep it cleaned out.
Yep, no, and I bet it works beautiful, right? I mean,
Yes,
yep.
it does. I mean, we had an issue initially, and Angela knows, we pay them to go do it.
Can we contact?
One more, or two more quick things. With regards to the hours of operations, I'll be honest with you, the hours of 8 to 4 kind of stinks. My hours have changed a little bit with my job, and now I work 8 to 4, and I can never seem to get here. Taking away Friday, granted, it's not gonna help me, but it may help, other people, that may be their day off that they can get here. If there's a way, if you're looking at making it easier for the residents to come in and do business, what about an 8 to 5?
Did we
Maybe
say
give the
8 to
public.
4?
We didn't say.
We didn't say
We never
anything.
discussed
No,
that.
isn't that what the current hours are now? 8 to 4?
They depend.
No,
It's not,
no,
that's not
it-
correct.
There's different hours.
Yeah, that's not correct.
Okay.
But
As
if we
the
went,
sign said,
but if we went to a
4 o'clock.
reduced work week, obviously the days that we were open would have extended hours.
Extended hours.
It'd be 10-hour days.
It'd be 8 to 6.
I was gonna say, whatever can make it better
You're replacing
for,
40 at like a regular work week, you're not gonna take away.
well, I'm trying to make it easier for the Greenwich resident to be able to get in
We
here
are too.
after 4 o'clock,
We are too.
because that seems to be the biggest problem.
Mhm.
Your social media policy, I'll be happy to let you know that the squad has already taken a stand on that. We already enforced that policy on the rescue squad. We're probably the only squad in Warren County that does not have a Facebook page, simply because of the bashing that goes on between each squads and their members and whatnot, and they've all been told, no Facebook. Last but not least, I'll touch back on the parking thing real quick. We were talking about sight distance and what the difference is between the 75 and the 125. I mentioned to you that I parked my daughter's front bumper at 75 feet, and I took a picture of it with a camera, and the 125 lines up with that telephone pole. That's right where my daughter's back bumper lines up with. So that difference of 75 to 125 feet only makes a difference of about 8 feet overall.
Well, that's what we said, Gary, that I would have to look at, because I didn't look at what 75 feet, and it may only make a small difference, which,
Exactly.
is, but to be determined still, but that's very possible.
And that's all I got.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Quick, right, we're on 110th now. On the sign for, I guess, looking into the potential use of a sign for electronics. The school had at one point, a couple of years ago, we had talked about putting a new sign in at the middle school. So if you guys were flexible, if you proceed down the road and you think that that location is something you'd consider, you wanted to work with the school on it, because there's already, the infrastructure's there, there's a conduit, there's electric, it's already lighted. I would guess it would be grandfathered in under any kind of signing ordinance, but you could use it for dual purpose for both, municipal purpose and school. We were looking at putting an LED type, potentially an LED type sign there, so you could get rid of the manual changing of the letters and stuff, and you could just program it and put whatever messages in. And it even opens up the possibility of putting advertising, raising
Or
revenues.
slow down in Greenwich Township.
Yeah.
or get a
Yeah,
ticket.
yeah.
So
Just
depending on where you go with that.
quick thing, the problem with advertising is, and it would be something that I will definitely state publicly, I strongly oppose, because once you open up the avenue for advertising, you accept advertising from anyone. When the KKK comes, you have to publish it. So as a as a body politic, it's an all or nothing approach. And the minute the door is open, you have to publish the most offensive, obscene advertisements. Otherwise, you get into that whole thing.
You also have the ordinance that probably would eliminate that, because it would be for Board of Ed use.
Right, that was just something that
Well,
would kick
Yeah,
around.
no,
Just so that you know.
And it is like, when I hear about in
Be
terms of the
nice.
conduit and all that, it would be nice to save money, but the other issue is, obviously, it would reach a large majority of residents who have children, but it wouldn't necessarily be effective to communicate to those who aren't over by the
Who
school,
don't
where
travel
at least,
South Main.
at least when you're out, whether you have children or not, depending upon your age or demographic, you're gonna be out at Home Depot or, ShopRite for food,
Angie
so.
said to me last night, she said, I haven't seen the sign. I said, you haven't seen the sign? She said, no, I take all the back roads. I don't see the sign that's out on Greenwich Street. And I said, wow, you better just, take
What,
the
for
main
for
road.
Community Day?
Yep,
We're waiting for the cleanup,
Wow.
to clean up more community
But
day.
you get a lot of commuter traffic on obviously
Yeah,
going
you
south,
do,
so.
you do.
It's just something to think
Yeah.
about, so
No, thanks.
we're still looking at getting this.
But certainly, I think we would definitely be interested in at least, partnering for messages and stuff that would be, relevant to the residents, which would include schools, for sure.
Yeah.
So that would definitely,
Just thought I'd mention it.
thank you.
You want to pick it up?
We're working on it. That's why I said look into partnering. That's why we said
Yeah,
partnering.
that's it, partner, I mean, I
That's
can't, I'm not
partner.
speaking for the board, but I mean, it's something that if
Right.
I did like the location, we could,
Right, we'll figure it out. Great.
Call the residents money anyway.
That's true.
That's right, it
Yes,
is.
sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no hands, a motion to close public comment period?
I'll make a motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation, Greenwich Township versus John Ray Kennels, contract negotiations, RLR enforcement, as well as Route 57
Right. And also-
remediation.
And also pending litigation regarding your pending co-litigation.
Oh, correct. Correct.
Yes.
And discussing about the WFP. You didn't ask before, wastewater manager. What were you asking?
What you wanted to discuss.
Oh, yes, and I
earlier.
also want to discuss the recent Highlands letter and some of the, and their response. Their responses therein.
Okay.
Make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for that.
Good night, everybody.
It's okay.